Good afternoon. Welcome to Growing Common Grounds Farm. My name is Reverend Christopher Beasley. I serve as rector here at St. Peter's Episcopal Church here in Lebanon, Indiana. Today we're again out in the gardens. I wanted to give you an update here at the end of September of where we are. We've had a couple mornings here in the mid-30s and even low 30s this week. And so we're getting really toward the end of our growing season here in Lebanon. Standing next to a field of buckwheat. We've planted this as a cover crop. It does well in well-drained soils. It's also very short duration, so if you have 8 to 10 weeks of time, that it can be a second crop that you would plant. It also, if you plant cover crops in the spring and early summer, it will help suppress those weeds that will come up as the corn and other main crops are trying to get established. So we see some here, we see some back in the far field as well. We have a little bit of okra still going on to my left, your right. And then over to my right we have tomatoes. Again, a lot of our production gardens are winding down. We have a ton of beans that we've picked in the last week or so, but we're about done with beans as well. Looking back, you can see we look back toward our partner growers. Again, a lot of them have harvested a lot of the crops, the main crop for that they grew this summer, and have taken that to Indianapolis. We still have some that are growing pumpkins and some onions and things like that, which will be finished here in the next week or so. But a great success here at Growing Common Grounds Farm. So one of the things I wanted to just talk about is, we've had a great 2020. We've produced over 2,000 pounds of food for distribution to our local communities through food pantries, giveaways here at the church, and the like. We've also raised about $1,000 that will help continue this ministry in the coming years. But we cannot do any of this without the thankful contributions of many in our community and of the Episcopal Church in general. We were the recipients of a National Task Force on the Care of Creation grant to work with partners in our community, ecumenical partners, and outside of our community to develop ways to distribute food to more people. So we were very thankful to them. We also are part of the Church Lands Project, which seeks to use church-owned land in a more responsible way to respond to the ecological exploitation that is going on in our world. So we are one of 18 congregations that participate in this monthly call, and it's a year-long program where we get to discuss the things that are going on in our context and how we can best use the land for good in our communities. So I'm going to pause right there from our gardens, and then I'm going to catch you back down at the apiary, and we'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on down at the apiary this year. We see a lot of activity right now in this hive. A lot of the bees are moving in and out of the hive. They're busy going out foraging for pollen, coming back to make honey to build up those reserves for winter. Temperatures get below 45 degrees, we really don't see the bees going in and out of the hive very often. So they need to produce a lot of honey to sustain them through our long Indiana winters. Welcome again. We're here at the apiary here at St. Peter's Episcopal Church. This is a 10 by 20 foot enclosed apiary, 6.5 foot fence high fence. We have harvested our honey for the year. We did that over the Labor Day weekend. Our hives, we had some problems with a couple of the hives this year, so we only had honey from 3 hives that we were able to harvest. But we still had about 122.5 pounds of honey that was produced that we harvested and have bottled and will be ready for distribution here shortly. But of the remaining hives, they're very strong. They're busy going in and out again, foraging for pollen, preparing for winter. Again, as the temperatures are getting colder here in Indiana, pretty soon, about the next few weeks, we'll be closing these hives up and letting them really seal all the cracks and prepare the hive for winter themselves. Because again, in the midst of the coldest days of winter, when it's 0 degrees outside here, the inside of the hive will stay around 90 to 92 degrees because they'll keep that queen warm. They'll move by flapping their wings, they'll generate heat and move in this circular motion around the queen in the hive. So it's very important that they do all their prep work to keep the hive healthy through the long Indiana winters. Another reason you may ask, why do you have a fence around your hive? I've seen my neighbor that has beehives just sitting in his yard. The reason we do this is because, again, it's slotted, so you can walk right up to the front of the fence and you can look right in at the hive and you can see the bees going in and out. Because what will happen is the bees will come out of the hive, they will see the fence in front of them, they will then go up to the height of 6.5 feet, and then they will fly at that altitude until they get to their food source. So by putting a fence this high, we're able to allow more direct observation of the hives. You also see there in the center we have a cell tower. All of our hives are instrumented. So that cell tower relays the data from the hives about temperature, weight of the hive, things like that, to Broodminder, which is a service that we subscribe to. So if you go to Broodminder and you search for the St. Peter's Apiary at 950 East Washington Street in Lebanon, Indiana, you can then see real lifetime data of what's going on in our hives. So if you see the hives, dropping rapidly in weight, that can be an indication that maybe you have an infestation of yellow jackets, or the queen has left and they're not producing as much honey in the hive. So all of our instrumentation helps us keep an eye on the hive. So hope you've enjoyed this video from Growing Common Grounds Farm here at St. Peter's Episcopal Church in Lebanon, Indiana. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day.